Good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly humbled to stand before you to present my topic, Morality Beyond Divine Realm. Before I delve into my topic, I would like to thank esSENSE Global Bangalore for giving me this opportunity to present before you, and it's a great honor for me. The topic I'm presenting here is a question that is as old as civilization. Does morality stem from religion, or do we inherently have morality independent of religion? Or do we need religion to be moral? And I'm sure we all have contemplated about this question at one point or the other. So let's delve into it. We are in this wonderful world where among multitude of animals and birds and other organisms, we are in a unique position where we are divinely supervised and directed by a divine being. And if our report cards come out good, after our death, we will be allocated to respective celestial theme park, heaven and hell. However, our report card scoring will be based on the religious inclination we have. So, where did this religion start? Based on our observation or the evidences that we have, it started somewhere around, the rudimentary form of religion started somewhere around Stone Age among modern humanoid species. So the kind of religion that they have were animism, where they attributed spiritual essence to anything and everything that was scary to them or confused them. Like, for example, rain or animals or sun or moon, thunder. I'm not talking about Thor though. And also they had rituals wherein they buried the deceased body of their loved ones and they adored their graves. But then the difference here is these spirits or these deities didn't have any concern for human affairs or their morality for that matter. And they didn't really care to teach their doctrines or spread their doctrines. Also, one more interesting factor was discovered during 2003. They found burial site in 2003 in an African cave system of archaic humanoid species called Homo nedeli. And what intrigued the researcher is that it had nothing to do with any kind of religious inclination. The only thing that intrigued them is that they buried their loved ones and their brain structure was a little bigger than that of chimpanzee. Way different than what we found during the Stone Age humans. Anyway, we don't know any one of them, let it be Homo nedeli or the Stone Age period humanoid species believed in afterlife. We really don't know that. Anyways, with the advent of agriculture, the forest-dwelling tribes came together and settled down into large stratified and complex social groups. This is because agriculture required coordinated and systematic effort from individuals. And this led to complex social groups, and this eventually led to formation of hierarchies with specific roles and responsibilities and specific morals and rules and behavior systems. And this eventually gave rise to what you call the pro-social religion. In this pro-social religion, what you can see is that these gods believed in what you call the morals and human affairs. And this ensured the stability and growth of the society. So the deities of pro-social religion were all-knowing and all-powerful and definitely had a great interest in morality and human affairs, as I was saying. And also, these these gods do have scriptures and reverent individuals who were appointed in earth as guides for rest of the humanity. And these people control the rest of the individuals by using fear of hell for bad behavior or unfavorable behavior, and also by lowering about heaven for good behavior or favorable behavior. Religion was also used as a political tool, not just to ensure pro-social behavior among people. Political tool in the sense to ensure and spread their doctrine and ensure that there are more people under their belief system, and also something called divine right of kings. That is, monarchs are not under earthly authorities. They are direct descendants from God. But God is all-knowing, but people are not. This humble acceptance of the fact that holy scriptures or holy individuals cannot explain the true nature of the natural world, and the courage to break free from the dogmas of religion paved way for the science. And curiosity, rationalism, critical thinking, and skepticism gave a fertile ground for science to flourish. Eventually, this revolutionized our understanding about the world. Curse of God was replaced by germ theory, which paved way for modern medicine as we know now. Geocentric planetary system changed to heliocentric planetary system, which led to astronomy, astrophysics, and furthermore. And creationism of any religion for that matter was replaced by a theory of evolution, Big Bang, and so on. Our understanding of the world has changed a lot. So, eventually, religion had to take a step back. Religion had to acknowledge the advancement of science, and what they told is that, okay, fine, we accept your advancement and we do agree that you have a better understanding of the world. And, however, we will remain as the moral guide of humanity. You can answer the questions of the natural world, but we will answer the moral questions. However, as science progressed in the pursuit of knowledge, science answered some of the moral questions as well. For example, gender equality, racism, LGBTQ issues. So, how did science was able to provide greater insight into a domain that was predominantly controlled by religion? That is basically the difference of approach of religion and science. So let's see what all are those differences in approach. So basically, religion follows a set of rules from holy scriptures that are, in simple words I can say, published by God. However, science follows humanism, rationalism, and the latest scientific understanding of the world, or human nature for that matter. Again, religion rules are based on what is considered as acceptable by God or what pleases God. However, science, on the other hand, follows laws and guidelines based on the well-being of the individual as well as society at large. Rules of religion are rules of the religion are enforced primarily using greed or fear of the divine consequences. Like if you don't do something that has been told by God, you will end up in hell or you will be punished by God. However, in science, law enforcement is definitely done using punishment, definitely yes. but is also using rewards, interventions, also by analyzing human behavior as well. Human behavior analysis is also considered here. Religion is of course stagnant. They remain in that, centuries, thousands of years old rule book. They don't understand how we have progressed right now. However, science is ever evolving. Few years back, like a century back, for people of science, gender equality was not a thing. But now it is true. Gender equality is correct. Even for people of science, racism was there. Slavery was correct. But now it is not. They understand that slavery is wrong, racism is wrong. So as the understanding gets better, science will accept the truth and moves forward. It is not stagnant. Now, it is not universally acceptable. So for religion A, if one thing is correct, for religion B, that might not be correct. But for science, all human beings are just human beings. It's applicable universally. So this is the reason why approaching morality using science is a better way. So now, as I was saying, science have a better way to understand morality and address moral questions. However, what people of religion say is that, okay, what we are saying is God is above human beings, and you know what, human beings don't understand God. God have mysterious ways to work, and skepticism, humanism or rationality, all these things come from human brain, even science. So how does we can say that morality is inherent in human beings, or for that matter any other organism? So let's see, other than human beings, if there are virtues of morality and immorality. So there was an experiment conducted and it was replicated later on among rats. So what happened is a litter of hungry rats, actually, they had to pull a lever to get food pellets, and each time they pull the lever, other bunch of litter mates in front of them got shocked. And when they understood that, these first batch of rats decided not to pull the lever and decided to stay hungry. This showed that they had compassion and empathy. And this is rodents that we are talking about. These little cute and friendly fishes in the ocean, there are recorded incidents, multiple incidents, where dolphins have helped swimmers and in fact defended swimmers from hammerhead sharks so that the swimmers can escape as an interspecies act of kindness. Altruism. These are meerkats, type of mongoose that you can see in southern part of Africa. They have something called sentry duties wherein they have to guard their kins. And when they guard their kins, they are explicitly exposing themselves to the predators wherein they can get eaten or killed. This is called kin altruism, and this is also part of a survival of the species. These are vampire bats. They live in colonies, and if one vampire bat finds out that one of its colony mates couldn't find food, what they do is they regurgitate their food and gives or shares it with the one who couldn't feed themselves. And later we can see that this act of kindness is reciprocated when the first one is in need. Elephants, they often wander in groups. In group norms, among the many group norms, mourning for the death is one among them, and it is something that is not a rule. It forms because of intimate emotional relationship. So if an elephant dies, they bury the dead body of the elephant with grass and leaves. And they stand vigil for that dead body for days together. And for the years to come, they pay visit for that dead body or the bones. And actually they know, they identify the bones of that specific elephant actually. So burying the dead body or cremating the dead body of the deceased loved ones and visiting those graves are not just a human thing for that matter. Now we were talking about morality. Now let's consider some of the immoral things that you can find in other species. Infanticide. So male lions sometimes engage in infanticide by killing the cubs of other rival male after taking over a pride. So this behavior actually accelerates the heat of the females in the pride so that the new male can populate with them and have his own new offspring. Now this is the infanticide within the same species, but the offspring is of somebody else. Now what about parental infanticide? I think many would have seen a viral video wherein a stork was throwing her own chick outside of the nest. So in many cases, the parents themselves either kill or ignores the weaker chick or the offspring, their own offspring. And this can be seen among white storks or shoebill. Next one, cute, goofy fellows, penguins. So penguins form pairs for mating and they remain like that, but around 20 to 30% of the penguins engage in extra pair population, basically cheating on their partners. And basically the prize here is, for the males, of course, more offspring and propagation of their genetic material. However, for the females, it is a precious stone for making their nest extra safe and better. Sexual coercion. So these are mallard ducks. The one with the green neck is the male and the other one is female. So the male duck sometimes engage in coercive mating behavior wherein it will harass or forcefully copulate with the female, wherein it stresses out the female, resulting in physical harm. So these are some of the immoral activities that we can see in outside of human species. From these examples, we can understand that both moral and immoral activities predates human beings as well as religion for that matter. This is because these virtues have evolved over time in organisms that live in group and had to cooperate with each other for survival, which directly had an influence on gene selection and also the neurobiology of the organism. You see, you cannot induce altruistic behavior in meerkats by promising heaven after death. Neither you can scare a penguin or hold back a penguin from cheating on its partner by scaring about hell. It's that. Now, let's consider human. For human beings, people say that, religion teaches morality. So, in human beings, what about babies? What about infants within the first year of their lifetime? Based on the behavioral study of infants, it has been observed that these infants show moral compass, moral principles. Fairness and justified behaviors and justified behavior are observed among these infants. And that is way before religion is taught to them or any kind of doctrines are taught to them. And we can see that in the time of crisis also, people have extended their support to animals and other people, and they have never asked who they are or where they are coming from or what their ethnicity is or what their religion is. So it doesn't matter where you are coming from or what their religion is. It is very much inherent. Now, this is wherein religious people say that, well, you know what, divine supervision will make sure that people behave morally. Now, here is something I want to ask them. People who are already moral, in a spectrum of morality, who have high level of moral principles, they will behave morally no matter what. What about people whose moral compass is low? How do they ensure that, how do divine supervision will ensure that they will behave morally just because of divine supervision? And I want to introduce you to such a personality type. They are called dark triads. So dark triads are a personality type which is basically a combination of three types of interrelated personality constructs. That is narcissism, Machiavellianism and psychopathy. Narcissism is an extreme form of self-involvement wherein they ignore the needs of others. And Machiavellianism is a personality trait that denotes cunningness and the ability to manipulate others and the drive to take whatever means it takes to gain control or power. And psychopathy is basically a neuropsychiatric disorder with deficient emotional response and lack of empathy, and resulting in antisocial behavior and lack of behavioral controls. Mind you, not all dark triads are violent. There is a spectrum here. All these dark triads, some are non-violent as well. The reason is because depending on each person, each behavioral trait, like for some people, narcissism might be dominant. For some people, Machiavellianism might be dominant. For other people, it might be psychopathy. So each person is different. Now, many people will say that, dark triad seems to be evil, seems to be bad, but that is not the case. They have served a lot to our civilization and bringing our civilization forward. That is because, for example, narcissism, the assertiveness and the leadership quality of narcissism might have been helpful in mate selection and leadership. Again, the confidence that they showcase. Second, in Machiavellianism, in complex social structure, the ability to assert influence, again, had a positive impact in bringing the civilization. Third, psychopathy, the lack of emotional response or emotional detachment gave them the ability to take more risk, and it helped them in high-risk situations like, let's say, in olden times, hunting, or maybe territorial conflict. Territorial conflict. So, in an optimum level where all these personality traits are neither too pronounced nor absent is a very good aspect. And in modern times, it is a good thing because that will make the individual a strategic thinker, a charismatic leader, and also an innovative risk taker. But if that is not optimal, that is wherein we have to manage them and take care of them. The reason why I am using the word manage them and take care of them, there is a reason. Now, before coming to that, let me tell you what is the general behavior of dark triads. They are basically careless, they are dishonest and manipulative, they are high risk-taking individuals, they need instant gratification for whatever pleasure they are seeking, they need control and power. So for religious strategy, what religion does here is basically, okay, let me lure you with whatever divine thing that I can give you, like heaven and all the good things about heaven. Or, let me scare you with hell, all the bad things about hell. They really don't care what happens after death. They hardly care about it. They need what is there in life. Maybe they will use these tactics to control others. And I'm sure you can relate many people right now using these tactics to control others or influence others basically. So as I was saying, religious tactics doesn't work because they really don't care what happens after death, their death. So why did I say we have to manage them as well as care for them? Again, let's go to the fundamentals of it. Through science, of course. What are the factors why these people are like this? Why dark triads turned out to be dark triads? There are three main reasons. One is the genetic predisposition, second is the neurobiology, and third are external factors. The first two is something nobody can do anything. Neither the individual can do anything, nor the society can do anything. It's not the mistake of the individual to be born with that genetic makeup and the brain structure. But third, external factor does have something that we can do. There is a scope that we can do. So what is the main external factor? The external factor is basically a trigger. People who have the genetic material and the neurobiology of a dark triad, external factor just act as a trigger to become a dark triad, and that happens during early childhood, which includes trauma, negligence, or lack of love. It can be anything. So if we provide a good, safe environment for people as family or even as a society, we can help these people to be not to be dark triads. Now, there are situations wherein we cannot control that all the time. However, we can make sure that if it is addressed within the childhood, before adolescence is hit, before that, if we can address that issue, we can make sure that the person is a pro-social being. So I can give you that example. I can show you two examples to it. This is Amarjit Sada. He is one of the youngest serial killer, and he is someone who has a dominant psychopathic behavior. He committed 3 murders by the age of 8, and one of them was his own sister. He had zero remorse, and he is someone who has antipathy. Basically, he enjoyed watching the struggle of the person whom he killed. And he was diagnosed with conduct behavior after he got arrested. Conduct behavior is nothing but a precursor to psychopathy that you get diagnosed during your childhood. So after he was arrested, he was given therapy, both behavioral therapy as well as medical therapy. So when I say therapy, I am not saying that you can bring empathy or emotional attachment to the person, but you can definitely make the person pro-social, because he was taken care like that before he reached adolescence. So now where is he? He is an adult right now. We don't know where he is. After he reached adolescence, his identity was changed, and then he was sent back to the society as a pro-social being. And this is not just the case that happened in India. There are many such cases. There is one case wherein the subject was named as subject A, where the kid with a similar case, he committed actually 2 murders, and he was given therapy, and he was later sent out to the society with a different identity. But after you reach adolescence, that is a different case altogether. You cannot change the behavior even with therapy. Now, this is Professor James Fallon. He is a neuroscientist at University of California, Irvine School of Medicine. Now, he is married. He's married to his teenage sweetheart, and he has 3 kids. He has grandchildren, and he maintains a very good social life. But accidentally, he came to know that his brain structure is creepily similar to that of a psychopath. So later he went and did a DNA analysis, which also agrees with that finding that his genes are same as that of, indicates everything that of a psychopath. And later again, his mother told him that, you know what, if you check our family history, there are a lot of violent psychopaths that are pretty famous in America. So he had the right combination of everything that a violent psychopath has. But he didn't turn out to be a violent psychopath because he had a really good childhood. So when he realized this, he didn't keep it to himself. He went ahead and announced it to the world in a TED Talk. And later, again, what he did is, he went and made his children take a brain scan. And he understood that one of his kids is also having the psychopathic brain structure. And then eventually he decided what is the next course of action. That is the good thing about science, to how to address these kind of situations, rather than religion saying, oh, if you do this bad behavior like how you are doing right now, you will be punished by the high gods. Now, how is that going to work? Who doesn't really care about it? Now, here is some more ethical concern. I was talking about Amarjit Sada, who was young when he was caught. And there are people who never gets caught till their adulthood. How do we manage them? I'm not necessarily talking about violent psychopaths. What about non-violent psychopaths who does have a bad influence on people around them or the society around them? We have to manage them as well. And I would like to, and it's my pleasure to tell you all that there are ways, and there are actually practical ways how science have come up with. Science, rationalism, and humanism has actually come up in managing those situations. And there are countries who have done that, even though that's a real conundrum. And maybe that's a topic for another discussion. So I would like to quote Christopher Hitchens, one of my favorite intellect. Human decency is not derived from religion. It precedes it. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.